A new year is more than a fresh start. It's a chance to build a system that actually works for you. Today, I'm setting up my 2026 bullet journal and organizing my life for the year ahead. Let's get started. This year, I've chosen the Secret Garden notebook by Notebook Therapy in B5. I've tried B5 for the first time last year, and it's definitely my favorite size because it's big enough for everything. I'm just a bit worried about the velvety cover because I'm a bit worried about the wear and tear in my bag, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to touch the first pages too much because we'll go back to it later. Instead, I'm going to start with my cover page, and you can see Cherie here. She's going to be following along with us. I'm going to start with layering some pieces of paper and old books to find something that I actually enjoy and that looks nice to me. I'm also using these pages from my old travel journal because I'm not using it. I really do not like this. Oh, and here's Cherie. She's going to be hanging out with us for a while. She was very eager to help, but that's not really working. I'm also using the paper that the journal comb wrapped around because I really do like the effect it gives. And I'm going to be looking through my stickers to find something I actually vibe with. The one you can see right now I'm going to be using, but a bit later during the video. Right now I'm just going to be gluing everything and make sure the vibe follows what I want the journal to actually look like. At first, I wanted my journal to be a bit light academia in terms of aesthetic, but in the end it will look more like cottagecore, nice and easy, based on the different things that I had and the stickers. All the stickers I'm using today are from my Sticky subscription, but I will give you more details every time I use them. For now, I'm just trying a nice way to layer everything, and then I'm going to be using my stamps to stamp ahead 2026 in the little frame I've created right there. I've said it before, but I really like the way you can see the frame of each stamp when I do them because they're not the highest quality, but I keep that because it feels a bit airy and unconventional for this spread. I'm keeping this on purpose because I do not want to have a too perfect journal that I will be scared to use after that. I like the fact that it's not completely perfect, it's less daunting to start writing in it. The stickers I'm going to be using are from Nastya Che, and they are representing some old runes and statues from the Roman Empire. They are so beautiful on the page, and I really like the way they look with a very simple stickers and paper here. They also have a bit of golden in there, so it's gorgeous. And I'm going to go back now and I'm going to be working on the very first page. I'm going to start with writing my name and do some faux calligraphy on it to make it look a bit more interesting because I do not know how to do calligraphy at all. So that's the best we can get in that case. On this page, I will be using the same set of stickers as before, and I'm going to be adding a pocket to it. I haven't put anything in it yet, and I know usually the pocket is used for the grid or anything like this, but I'm going to use it a bit different this time. In my real life, I am a full-time teacher, and I'm going to be using two different papers in that pocket. The first one is very silly, but it's writing down a bunch of French names for girls and for boys. And you might be wondering, like, why do that? It's just that when I create worksheets, I'm always going to be writing about Julie and Pierre, and the kids are a bit tired of it, so I keep a list. And this is Cherie absolutely helping right now. She's doing her best, bless her. But yeah, I keep a list of French names so I can reference them back when I do not have inspiration for it. Now we're going to be moving on with the year at a glance. As you can see here, I've been creating those titles in advance, and it took me literally forever to do. I didn't measure the time, but I know it took me a full episode of Critical Role in 1.5 to do that. So about 3 hours, I would say, based on the size of the episode. It was very draining, and I'm really glad I didn't do it on the day and they were prepared in advance. This way, it's less of a headache for me. I just have to cut them to fit the page, and that's about it. The washi tape I'm using is straight from Amazon. It's very basic, but I really love it. It comes as like a bunch of different colors, and I always find one that matches whichever spread I want to do. I'm cutting again to make sure everything fits, and I'm going to be gluing my title right there. I do use Year at a Glance quite a lot, and I find it very useful, especially when it comes to looking at the holidays and the different breaks we've got for the year. Like, it keeps me going, you know. From this point, I'm going to use those landscape stickers that are from Sticky themselves, and also some critters that are from Natasha Choara. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And also the stamps, I do believe they are made in-house by Sticky. If you're interested in checking out each of the artists that I'm featuring today, I will be listing them in the description below, so go and give them some love also. Now comes the most dreaded part, which is to write all the numbers of all the days in the page. Usually I do print and cut calendars, but I definitely forgot this year, and I don't have access to a printer, so we have to do it the good old way. But I'm nicer to you than I am to myself, so let's just skip ahead and go back with a bit of decoration and just make sure everything flows nicely. I haven't added anything yet to this page, but I will be very soon when I add all of the different school holidays and anything like this. The next double page is going to be for my health trackers. It's something I tried to do in 2025, and that was a big fail, but 2026 is going to be the year. But before that, I'm going to be doing some Dutch doors, I'm guessing. I'm not sure you call them, but I'm going to be cutting a tiny bit of each page to be able to see all of them on the side. Beside the Year at a Glance page, I've got 4 different spreads that I'm going to be creating, so I really like the way it's going to be looking with the little papers here. So I'm going ahead and I'm just cutting everything. I've measured and penciled in where I needed to cut, but it's a bit very frightening to be able to do it correctly and not mess up as we go. Also, you can notice my very beautiful pink post-its. It's just to be able to remind myself which page is what. When I do the brainstorming of my journal, I just write down every page I want on a post-it, and then I move them around to be able to decide where everything goes where. I find it super helpful in terms of organizing my thoughts and making sure everything I need is actually there. And I find it way more convenient than just penciling in on the page directly, and that's just the way I work. I'm going to go around and cut those corners, realize that the smallest ones don't work and I need to do it by hand, which is a pain, but what do you want? And then once it's done, I'm going to make sure to erase any trace of pencil that was on those pages and make sure that everything is perfect. For that, I'm using my trusty Faber-Castell eraser. It is dark blue, but it gets the job done so much better than any other eraser, so I'm always using it, and it's better to clean also because you can see the blue little flakes at the end, so it's a win-win really. I will come back later to color every little thing, but for now we're going back to my health trackers. And I will admit that about 3 years ago, I went into a very big, bad burnout at work. And 2025 was the year of healing from that. And 2026 is going to be the year to go back to normal. Because unfortunately, burnout meant that I didn't cook as much and I was ordering way too much, which led to a bit of too many kilos happening for me, and I want to get rid of those and go back to normal. So that's going to keep myself in check and making sure I track my progress and I'm always on top of everything. So on the left page, that's going to be about tracking my weight every month on a little diagram, and then just below is going to be helping me measure my body every month. I do have a smart scale that helps like tracking weight and body fat and all of those things, but putting it into paper works so much better for me, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And I understand it might make some people uncomfortable talking about weight and all of that. So if you don't feel like watching that and hear me talking about it, just jump to the next chapter. I totally understand. But yeah, let's go back to it. In terms of measurements, I'm going to be measuring my body fat, and in terms of centimeters, that's going to be my bust, my waist, hips, legs, and arms. And this is the point where I realized I didn't put enough boxes. I only have 7 lines instead of 12, 13 actually. So I'm going to go back and add some more lines and add 1 more row at the bottom. I'm putting 13 instead of 12 because I want to record the starting point, like January 1st, where am I at? And then I can say end of January, what are the results? So hopefully I will be able to track that regularly and not forget about it. This way I can really see my progress. I used to use an app on my phone to track my progress, but I feel like anything that goes on paper is more powerful than just an ad that sits on your phone, which is where I've decided to do this double page. On the second page is going to be my reward kind of thing. So I'm going to put 5 boxes for each line, and at the end of it I'm going to be putting bigger boxes with the price, let's say. Basically every time I lose 5 kgs and I'm progressing, I'm going to get myself a little treat, and they get more interesting as we go back and we lose more weight. So that's 30 kgs in total, which I don't actually feel I'm going to be losing in 1 year, but we'll see how it goes. And in terms of prices, we've got boba tea for 5 kg, new shoes for 10, a new outfit for 15, haircut for 20, massage for 25. I miss massages so much. I need one right now. And finally, Japanese head spa for 30, because I know there's a salon not too far from me that actually does it, and I really want it as a treat because I've always wanted to do that. So really we'll see how it goes and if it's actually working for me or not. I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping track of calories or not. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go slow at the beginning to make sure I'm not hurting myself and I'm keeping it healthy and mentally stable also. But yeah, that was the bit too familiar section with too many of my thoughts. I'm sorry about that, but I would rather be transparent about those things and the way I set up my journal, because I do think it's important to be talking about this and talking about the struggles we have in everyday life. But yeah, we're going to be decorating that a bit more. You can see the little houses I'm going to put at the bottom of that page. I do believe they're also in-house for sticky, and then we're going to move on to the next double page. And those double pages are going to be about my business, big quotes around that, because this channel is not quite a business yet, but I'm really hoping it will be eventually. That would be great. So I do want to take that seriously, which is why it's a business instead of just a hobby for now. On the left is going to be my business goals. Those are some goals I do want to achieve with the channel and with my Instagram and TikTok accounts through 2026. And the way I'm going about it is I've drawn some little trophies that I can get through the year depending on the different goals I'm reaching, which is, gamification in a way, and I really like that. It makes me think of the trophies I can get when I'm playing video games, so it's always working. I've also gone ahead and drew that in pencil before going back with a pen, because I do not like to improvise anything. And you will see those little star ones. I actually put the star stickers that I usually use to give to kids to draw the outline around it for them to be perfect. And if you've seen any of my videos about my journal, reading journal, you will see that I do not know how to draw stars to save my life. So that was the easiest way to do it without it being painfully bad. Anyway, I've got 3 lines of goals for 3 different themes. This way I keep it And at the top you can see 4 different ribbons. That's going to be for my quarterly video streaks, which basically means every 3 months am I posting every week like I'm supposed to do? Am I adding comments on Instagram like I'm supposed to do? Like everything perfectly every week for 3 months. Because it's very easy for me to fall behind and just skip a week of videos, so this way it keeps me motivated and keeps me going. Under that we've got 4 different star trophies, and that's going to be for stat goals. So from left to right we've got 1,000 followers on Instagram, 1,000 followers on TikTok, 1,000 YouTube subs, and 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, because, you know, a girl can dream. Especially because I'm so grateful of everyone who showed up after my reading journal video. I'm so happy that you guys liked it that much, so hopefully we can keep that going and bring more people to the channel. And finally at the bottom we've got 2 cups, one of them being my first collab and one of them being my first sponsor. Those are, I think, going to be the hardest one to achieve, but like I said, a girl can dream now. So really we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I can come back at the end of the year and have all of them colored in. That would be perfect for me. Also, that would mean I'm eligible for monetization on YouTube, which would be perfect. But really, we'll see how it goes. The little moth I just added is part of a sheet of stickers by Masha Taxa, and I'm going to be using a bit more of those moving forward. Moving on to the right side of the spread, and we're going to have a big table of statistics. So while the left is more milestones, the right is going to be about keeping track of everything every month to see if there's some progress, to see if there's some variables, anything like this. Same as the previous table for my health tracker, I'm going to have 13 different rows with the starting point followed by all of the months of the year. And we're going to be tracking Instagram followers, Instagram views, TikTok followers, YouTube subs, and YouTube views. I do also keep track of all of those on my big Notion, but I do like to have those on paper also, especially with the business goals next to them. I can see when I reach each of these goals. So hopefully I will be actually good at keeping up with it. That's the main issue I've got with the beginning of each bullet journal. I create all those pages and I end up not using them at all. And to give you an idea of how ridiculous it can be, last year I had year at a glance, quarterly goals, health tracker I didn't use, now and future self I didn't use, 25 in 25, I used it for 2 months and then gave up. Self-care menu, I didn't use. This is ridiculous. Business goals, that is still blank. Productivity tracker, that is still blank. Stats tracker, still blank. Evergreen content for Instagram, still blank. And then the actual thing I used was my moving checklist, because we moved to Portugal this year and there was a lot of things to do, as well as the checklist for everything I needed to buy for my new flat. So all of those pages I really used just my Portugal pages and my year at a glance. So which is why I'm decided to make it way more simple this year. Because as lovely as it is to have those beautiful pages and to set them up nicely, if I'm not going to be using them, that's just going to be a waste of paper in my head. And based on the fact that I've got only 1 page left for my 2025 journal, I think any paper counts, any page counts. And now we are moving on to my brainstorming double pages with a bit of that black paper I also used on my cover page, a bit of that book paper I've been using, and some of the same stickers I've been using all along. If you've seen any of my past videos about my bullet journal, every month I've got a double spread just for content creation and my content calendar. But what I've been missing is a place to just dump all of the ideas I have and just like be able to brainstorm anything for videos or content. So hopefully this is where everything like this is going to be living this year. I wanted to put the title at the top, but as you can see it is way too big, so we're going to put it sideways, which is a good thing, because the issue I had with my 2025 journal is that it's so much more bulky at the top than at the bottom because of all the titles that end up at the top of the page. So if I can manage that from the get-go and make sure that I put stuff a bit everywhere, I think that should be better. The poor thing is dying. Like, we are happy that it's the last few days for him because he had enough. And finally, the last one here is going to be my brain dump, when I write down anything that I need to reference back when during the year. To give you an idea of what I've been using those pages for, on my previous one I've had a list of teaching resources I want to sell online and what I want to create. I've had also a list of the different documents needed for my husband's visa, and most importantly the different access codes for final exams for my students, because I can never remember them and you can't really save them as a password you would do. Because it's a different software altogether, it's not in Brother, so it's always good for me to be reminded of those things. And definitely those different passcodes and everything, I'm going to be copying them down from one set to the other because I really do need them. Especially because my students are doing mock exams literally 2 weeks after we go back in January, so we will need the practice for sure. Anyway, this is where I'm going to stop because I don't want to have too much going on this page. And finally, the last page I'm going to be trying out this year is to have all of my different themes in one place to review. I've seen other creators create those pages and I find them so cute, so that's why I want to try. And I'm going to keep this one very simple because right now it's just empty boxes, but I do know that down the road is going to be filled with different colors, different stickers, different themes, so I don't want to make it too much of a fuss. And here you can see I finally finished washi tape for the first time ever. It's really weird, it's never happened before, so that's kind of cool. The problem being that I finished it because it's my favorite, so that's going to be an issue in the long run. I don't think I can buy it on its own. But yep, that's just going to be the title, cut out because I don't want it to touch too much of the boxes under, and then we're just going to go with a ruler and put that neatly. And by neatly, I mean do my best, mess up, and then fix with some white pen like I usually do, because I cannot draw a table to save my life. It is very, very sad. But yeah, we will see what it looks like at the end of the year. I just realized that I've set up my January bullet journal already and I haven't done it, so I will need to go back and fill that up. So that's such a very good start for me. Very well done. The whole point though is to see how many times I'm just going to be doing different shades of beige and browns, because that's definitely my favorite. That light academia cottagecore thing has me in a chokehold, unfortunately. So the goal this year is to move a bit away from that. The problem being that I do not like when I move away from that. So that's going to be a challenge to make it work while not being too overwhelming. But hopefully I will not have any problem and I will have a bit more variety. But with those done, I only have one last thing to do, and is to color the different bookmarks. I don't even know how to call those. I don't know. My brain is not Englishing too good right now. And I'm going to be using those ink markers to be doing that. I do believe they are alcohol based because they bleed like crazy, but I really like the colors on them, so that's perfect because I do not need the other side of those pages. And I'm putting a blank page here to make sure that I'm not going overboard and I'm not drawing on the pages under. But with that done, that is going to be the end of my journal setup for 2026. And if you're interested, you can click in the corner over there to also look at my reading journal setup for 2026 if you haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, that's going to be all for us right now. And I'm going to double check, add maybe some little details here and there. Here we go. And make sure everything is nice and neat for the reveal. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to see any more. I'm posting once a week, every week, hopefully. So I will see you next weekend. Bye guys!